The Ferrari SF90 wheels are going to get completed, and we're going to kick off work on the seats with their multitude of parts this week on Angelo's workbench. The wheel has a two-tone graphite / silver treatment. And so what I'm doing, I have a little technique that I like when I want to paint just a little edge. I just need to find one of these that is fairly new and still has plenty of liquid in it, and I have found one. I buy these in bulk off of Amazon, these Sharpies, and they work very well. So just the outer lip needs to be silver, and then just the flat part of the 5 spokes, the little tiny piece. So if I just take this and run this along the edge, I get the silver line that goes around the edge of the real one without getting paint all over the place. The Sharpie does very well with this tip. And you could also use a paint marker. I have these that I like to use, and I've done one wheel with that and one wheel with this. The silver is about the same. And there, now I've gotten that all done. So now I just need this little spoke part silver. I find that the Sharpies are really good for detailing. And I'm okay with a brush. Like, I don't mind using a paintbrush too at times. But if I can get just as good a result with a Sharpie, then why not? There. And there's the wheel. With the silver lip around the outer edge, the graphite center, and the little tiny 5 spokes. It's a really cool looking wheel. And this is going to be awesome when we do the little Ferrari logos in the centers. This is going to be great. And I'll need to check the color of the lug nuts in my reference photo, because I might want to call out those lug nuts in a different color. Or if they're the same color, I'll just put a wash on them. But there's the wheel. That looks pretty good. So I'll go ahead and do the other one, and we'll move forward. So the final step on these wheels and tires is, hey, we got to put the tires on. If only mounting tires in real life was so quick and easy. But there we go. These are really looking great. And then the only other thing to do is the Ferrari logos for the center of the wheels, which is going to be a lot of fun because we're going to make like little Ferrari emblems with a little bit of epoxy or something. I haven't decided exactly what yet, but these look great. The other thing I would like to do is the lug nuts are typically black, so I will detail in those lug nuts with a little bit of black. But first, what we're going to need these wheel decals, number 60. And they actually go on a piece of photo-etched metal. They don't just go right on the wheel, which I think is kind of cool. You're like making the emblem, to give it a raised up appearance, I believe. So that is kind of cool. And then is the one piece of photo-etched metal that we haven't touched yet. This one here. And this is the peel and stick kind that has no metal little tab that you have to cut. So these just come off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel one of these clear plastic layers off and hope that all of the metal doesn't come off. There we go. Oh, yeah. What is that supposed to be? That's pretty wild. But there's our 104s, the little round ones. Oh, one of the pieces of metal came off. 107. So I'm going to have to get the eyeballs on, and I'm going to have to put that back on there. And then we'll get started on these Ferrari logos. I don't want to build the emblems on the photo etch sheet because they're too close to the other photo etch. So I don't want to cause a problem there. So what I'm doing is I'm making a double-sided sticky stick here by taking some tape and doubling it over. And then what I can do is I can take each of these. These are extremely dangerous because they are on there good. And if you pry on this, it's gonna go flying. But they just will not come off this. So I have a rather interesting problem here. Oh, if I push from the back. Ah! There we go. If you push from the back, they pop off. And there you have it. Okay. Well, that's a good thing because I haven't worked with a lot of photo etched metal. And so I don't have a tremendous amount of experience with this. But I can figure just about anything out given a little bit of time. There we go. You just poke right through. But I know that a small part being pried on from a sticky surface, when that adhesive lets go, that small part is going to launch to the stratosphere. That much I know. But pushing from the back seems to be the way to go here. And then the part just comes off. So there we go. Now we've got our 4 circles. And we can put this photo etch metal away because it's making me nervous. Just going to put that little sticky right back on there for safekeeping. And then we can do a couple different things. We can get the logos going on the metal circles. And then I'm going to cover them with a little dab of epoxy. And then we can simultaneously, I've got the black paint out here, we can do those lug nuts on those wheels. So let's get these decals going. Get my room temperature water out. And I think that we can do all 4 of these at once. So we will just dip this in the water, swish it all around for a couple of seconds. And we'll set it right there. All these little extra steps add up to a lot of extra time. It's going to be, I'm going to have, by the time I get done with this car, I'm going to have quite a bit of time in it. It's just the way it works. And there's a lot of unusual steps that I don't typically have to do, but I mean, I was even looking on this photo etch metal sheet, and I discovered that there are JBL speaker grill logos that actually say JBL on them. It must be for the speakers in the interior. Like, the interior of this car is going to be amazing. That's going to be a several video series, I'm sure. So here we go with Ferrari logo number 1. And I'm going to have to center these a little after they dry a bit. Don't really need the setting solution for a decal on a flat metal surface, but it does a good job of holding the decal in place. And sometimes I punch these with a hole punch because there is some extra decal around the outer edge of the logo. That becomes a pain. But I think that this time I don't need that because it's on a separate piece of metal. The tape is grabbing my Q-tip. There we go. There we go. Now they're centered on the metal really well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop this whole thing in the dehydrator and let that do its thing. In 10 minutes, those decals will be fully cured. So what I need to do is just get a little bit of paint on the lid. I've already stirred this paint with a stir stick. So now I'll just give it a little shake up to get some paint on the lid. And now we can, let's get this out of here. And now we can just, I think I want a new toothpick. I want a fine point. Just a little dab on the lug nut. Just to call it out so that you can see the lug nut's presence, because it's there. It's not detailed the best on the molding. It's more like there's an essence of a lug nut there. It's not super clear where the lug nut is. That's why I didn't use a wash. I don't think a wash would have done much. There we go. They're really starting to look the part. When we add those center logos in and finish it off, these are going to look outstanding. They have a very cool look to them, and the way these have been done, and especially these brakes too, how they've been done by Alpha Model, that just comes out looking amazing. They really have a lot of really cool parts. The extra photo etch adds a nice touch. And I'm liking this kit. There's a lot of really cool extra stuff. You know, like these logos, for example. I mean, I'm building a model of the logos that go in the center of the wheels. Usually it's just, you throw the decal on and you're done. But instead there's parts and they've got to be glued on, and so this is going to be good. So when those come out of the dehydrator, we'll come back. We'll cover them with a little bit of epoxy and build them up a little bit, give them that nice kind of roundel look, and then we'll glue them on the wheel. I'm mixing up my 2-part epoxy now, just to kind of get this ready. And then this stuff goes off in about 5 minutes. So once I get this mixed up, I've got a few minutes to work with it, and then it hardens and begins to harden and begins to get very sticky. So I'm just mixing. Okay. There we go. Just kind of make like a little dab. There we go. Wow, that looks so cool. It actually looks like I think I gotta take some off of some of these. There just needs to be a little bit less. There we go. I put a little bit too much on. There we go. So now you can see, let's see if I can bring this in. They have had their clear epoxy put over the top of them. So now, you know what? Maybe I'll pop that right back in the dehydrator. Let the dehydrator do its thing on the epoxy. And then we'll come back and we'll stick them on there. So the dehydrator has worked its magic. And we now have some wheel logos that look absolutely amazing. They have a dome look to them because of the epoxy. And I don't think there's any way that that's going to show up on camera, but you never know. They look amazing. So, and I should have waited to pick that up until I was ready to stick it on the wheel. So, let's see here. We're going to use a little crazy glue because that's the only thing that's going to stick photo etch metal to resin is crazy glue. So I'll just put a little dab here on my tape because I like to use a toothpick. I gotta get a new bottle of this. This one is starting to go hard in the container, so then it starts to get stringy. You get these little strings all over the place, and it's annoying. Just need the slightest little bit of crazy glue, not very much at all. And then we'll just drop it right in the center there. And I need my other toothpick to help because it is for some reason stuck. Wow, that looks great. Those emblems look amazing. And with the epoxy over the top of them, that's just great. And stuck to the photo etch metal, it's a good system. It's a good system. We'll do one more on camera. Then I will finish the others, and then we will get started on what's next. I'm going to work on the seats next. The seats have like 8 parts. We'll count them after, but there's a lot of parts. And lots of decals. The seats are almost a model in themselves. Which I think is kind of funny. Oh, that was close. I almost flipped over. There we go. Wow. Those look marvelous. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up the logos on these wheels. We'll come back, we'll take a quick look at them, and then we'll go to the many part seats. And there is all 4 ready to be installed on the car. And now we can move on to the seats. Here is one of the seats. And, and there's all the parts that make up this seat. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts that make up the seat. On top of that, there are also a multitude of decals that are involved. There are yellow highlights, those decal 76s, which are here. And then the multitude of carbon fiber decals for the seat pan. So lots of decal action. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 decals that I can see off the bat. And then once I get into it, there might be some more that I find. But you can see there are. So basically, it's going to be a carbon fiber frame here, and then whatever color cushions. So now the yellow highlights are going to be kind of cool, and I'm thinking that I'm going to go with a red cushion because the car is red. I think that will look cool. That's what I'm going to do as of right now. I may very well change my mind after I do some online photo research. But looking closely at the seats, it's hard to tell left from right. So one side has like a triangle-shaped adjuster, and the other side has a round one. So some internet research will reveal which one of these is driver and which one is passenger, because I don't think I can tell from the instructions. Maybe I can see where they have you put the interior together. Let's see here. Not really. I can't make that out. But we'll figure it out. Some internet research will tell me. Because it's a very obvious difference between the triangle and the round. So it's very cool how the seat frame is on here and everything. Really nice set of seats here. Unbelievable. Everything is like that with this car. So the seats themselves are a full model kit as well. And this makes the detailing of the seats very easy, with the cushions a different color and the seats a different color. So the seats are going to get painted in black first, and then decaled. And then the cushions will get painted in whatever color they're going to be. I believe flat red. Yeah, I can talk today. Flat red. And we'll go from there. So let's get started. For my flat red on the seats, I am using Tamiya SF7 acrylic. I really like the flat red the way this comes out. This flat red is really cool. And whenever I do flat red interior parts, I use this paint. So now I'm just spraying these guys. And I'm going to get them from all 4 directions. So I get the entire 360 degree coverage. And because these stick to the seat pan, you never see the bottom of them. I don't think I need to paint the backs. So I'm just making sure that I've gotten all the angles. There we go. So these can go sit and cure for a while. continue with the rest of the parts that have to be red. So we'll just... Being able to put them on sticks makes everything a lot easier. End up having to mix up a little bit more paint. I think I underestimated my how much paint I needed in the cup. There's the side cushions. Still make sure you get all 360 degrees, even though it's on a paint stick. Still gotta make sure you get it all. And I'm about to run out of... Yep, there it goes. Alright, time to mix up some more. And when I say mix up some more, the SF7, I shoot it straight, but I do thin it a little with a thinner. I use the Tamiya X20A acrylic thinner because the Tamiya acrylics are just a little too thick to shoot out of my airbrush, I think. So. Now we just gotta get these seat cushions done. Having a little bit of a problem because I put too much thinner in the paint. I thought it was spraying a little weird, and you can see there's way too much thinner in that paint. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop that in the dehydrator. Let it cure, and then I can go over it again. Spray that out. Now I should have my thicker version in here. Oh, that's much better. Yeah, I just put too much thinner in. It happens. Accidents happen. Easy to fix. That cure. Here, these have cured from the dehydrator, so we can take a look at those. Look at the nice sheen on those. The XF7 flat red is really awesome. Gives a great result. That one has a hair on it. See the hair? Right there. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to give that another shot. There we go. That's here. Now we'll take the one that I had put too much thinner on. There we go. Just let that cure. And that takes care of the red parts for the seats. Now we will do the black parts. Okay, so for the black paint, I am using my just black paint that I mix up which is my my Createx opaque black and my Vallejo 71.161 thinner. I have it written on there. This is what I use for my generic black, for just about everything that I paint black. It gives me a good sheen. I like the way it sprays. And this is just to be so that we get a uniform color underneath the decals, because there's going to be carbon fiber decals all over this. And so there we have it. That's ready to go cure. And it will give us a nice good color underneath the decals. Some uniformity. And I was able to get some Googling in when I was looking up these seats. And the triangle thing goes on the outside. There's also a little red strap on the seats, like a pull tab, that I might try to replicate with a little bit of ribbon or a small piece of tape. It's like I assume it's like to fold the seat up or something along those lines. Guys might need another coat, getting some pin marks in various locations. I'm going to let them cure, see how they cure up. They probably could have used a little bit of primer. I'll let them cure. I'll give them another shot, and they'll probably be fine. Well, all of the seat parts are painted, and we will move forward with the decaling of the seat pan and assembly of the seats next week here on Angelo's Workbench. Thanks for tuning in and following along in video number 6 in the Alpha Model Ferrari SF90 video series. Go ahead and like, share, comment, subscribe. Check me out on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. All is Angelo's Workbench. Thank you so very much. Next week, we're going to finish up those seats and move on to the interior and hopefully complete the interior in next week's video. Stay tuned. I'll see you then.